Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the happiest hour on earth. We're so excited you joined us, and we're really excited to chat tonight about a pretty fun topic. It was a little out of the ordinary for us, but we were just chatting the other night about how we've had a few Disney trips where someone was going with us on the trip who was maybe just not a huge fan of Disney, had never really had a good experience in the park or just didn't understand the hype. And we have pretty successfully created Disney fans on some of those trips, I would say. We've just had experience helping people have a fun time, I would say.
Yeah.
So we just thought it would be really fun to kind of give some tips on how to make people have fun. What are they into, you know? Are they into Star Wars? Are they into Marvel? Are they into food? There's so many things that could influence their trip and make or break whether they go home loving Disney or not. So we just thought we were gonna give some of our best tips. So follow along with us. Hope you enjoy. And let's go ahead and get started.
All right, so we're so excited to dive into this topic. I'm sure you guys have felt this way before,
think
right?
we've all
You know, like your love for Disney has just kind of like been a part of you, and then people find out, and then they're like, "Ooh, isn't that for kids?" You know,
Yeah.
and then be like, "Hey, if you go with me, I can show you a good time." Like, I just know that we've all experienced that before, and so we're just like, okay, if we have one weekend, like a day or two, what would we hit? And so I cannot wait to discuss this with you. It's going to be so much fun. And if you guys have any suggestions as well, something that, you know, definitely got like a non-Disney fan like into the parks, let us know below in the comments or just hit us up on Instagram. We would love to share those. But before we get started, we made something very special.
I would say a favorite among Magic Kingdom people.
Yeah.
From Casey's Corner.
Yeah. Do you want to just go for it?
Yeah,
I mean, you were the one who put in all the hard work.
It.
Yeah.
I did make it. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see we made the mini corn dog nuggets. I can't recall. I don't think we actually got these when we were there.
Yeah, we did the bacon mac and cheese.
Yeah, we got,
fries.
of course, we chose the mac and cheese option because we're just mac and cheese people.
Yeah.
But we know that these are a favorite and they'd kind of been on our radar for a while to make for a snack, and we made it happen tonight. So
yeah. Nothing like, you know, like you could buy, you know, corn dog nuggets in the store.
Yeah.
So, you know, churros and pretzels are a little bit harder to have access to, but everyone loves these in Magic Kingdom, so we had to make them.
We did. And I kind of, for some reason, always thought like, oh, just buy like the little weenies, you know,
little,
like sausage things. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I thought it would be like that kind of thing.
Kind of like a pizza in a blanket, but
yeah, that kind of thing, but with cornmeal. But the recipe that we followed was just regular hot dogs, which makes sense because they do have kind of a different taste. So if you just want like a legitimate corn dog miniature, then that's what you would do. So pretty much the exact same process. Cornmeal, cut up the hot dogs into a few pieces, put them in the cornmeal and fry them up. So a little messy, but fun to do, I guess. Yeah. And I'm ready to try them.
Should we do this?
Let's go.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mini corn dog cheers.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Let's go. You're going
I'm doing
first.
both.
Nice. Oh, okay.
I like both personally. And they turned out pretty good.
That is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think these turned out better than our corn dogs that we've done in the past.
I think
Although
so
last time
too.
we did corn dogs were actually pretty
Yeah,
good.
they turned out all right, but maybe just the size of these is easier to like the batter maybe stayed on a little better because I think it just fell off and then they looked way too thin when I made them the last time. So it's worked out a little better.
All right, so those were amazing. I'm definitely gonna have a couple more throughout the show.
I might as
so
well.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
But we're so excited to jump into this. If you are a non-Disney fan, you stumbled upon this video, this might be weird. Like, it's not supposed to come off as us being like how can we change their
How
minds?
to
How do
convert
we?
someone.
Yeah, we're just gonna have fun with this topic and just talk about the things that really attracted us to the parks when we were younger and what we like kind of stuck with us as we got older and why we still love it to this day.
Yep, for sure. And I personally experienced it as a
you did.
teenager. I mean, you always went as a kid. I didn't really. So when I went as a teenager with my friend and her family, it was, it was that life-changing trip for me where
Were you you were obviously excited, but did you think
she had me
when
pretty
you
hyped
went?
for it. I
Okay.
mean, she would always talk about how much she loved it, and she would always bring a friend when they would go on trips, and I just so happened to be the lucky one at one point. And yeah, I was pretty excited to go. But
did you think that did you think one day I'm going to start a Disney podcast?
No, I had no clue at the time. No, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be fun to go to a theme park with my friend and for a couple days, whatever. But it was so much more than I could have imagined. And so this whole topic is kind of fun for me because I'm I experienced it.
Yeah.
I know what kind of made it special for me. So
true.
Everybody kind of has their own reasoning for why it would be that way for them on a trip, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So fun. So you have an insight to this. And I think the first thing we wanted to talk about is that this is not your day. This is not your trip, meaning it's not going to be at your pace. Us as Disney fan, yes, as we've gotten older, we like to to sit down and enjoy a meal. Back then it was grab a meal, go in line for the next ride. It was nonstop.
Walk and eat and drink at the same time.
Oh yeah, and stay until midnight. Now we definitely can't because we have our toddler. But it was it was go, 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 go.
Oh,
and that has shifted a little bit, but still I think our pace now would still be too much for someone who doesn't know the parks as much.
Yeah.
So it is not your pace. You don't want to overload someone, right? So if we took someone who wasn't a big fan, I would keep that in mind and make them have a good day rather than, your own self being I have to make sure I hit every single ride. But just try to make it relaxed and fun. I think that's the biggest thing that we would do.
Yeah.
If we took someone.
I agree. And, it's also not I was thinking about it and it's still your trip too. I wouldn't say your entire focus needs to be on making sure that they have fun. You need to have fun too.
Yeah.
If you're in the park, you probably want to enjoy it. But, obviously you want to kind of keep in mind that someone who's not used to that kind of an environment and hasn't had days like that in a Disneyland park is going to be maybe a little overwhelmed or
it's crazy.
You're just being considerate of them and not making them feel like they're your project of the day. Everything you do has to revolve around whatever they want to do. Because that can make people feel a little weirded out as well. I think maybe I've experienced that before. So yeah, I think it's about just focusing on having fun, trying to be lighthearted, trying to show your own joy for being in the park. And, a lot of times that just kind of makes other people have fun regardless, because the more stress within the group or, however many people are there, the less fun everyone is going to have overall, there's drama, whatever. Just try to relax and have fun. And then other people probably will too. But moving on from that, we also, I kind of touched on in the intro, we think it's very important to kind of know what this person likes to do. What is going to be something that sticks with them and makes them look back with fondness on the trip, what kinds of things are they interested in? Like I was saying, some people really like Marvel movies. Some people really love Star Wars. Some people love thrill rides in general, or food or drinks. There's so many facets to Disney parks that you can try to kind of hone in on a little bit if someone that is with you is into that, right? So I think it's just important to think okay, if they really like this, maybe we'll spend a little bit more time here.
Yeah.
We'll do that, we'll take more breaks at restaurants and, getting drinks and things like that to let them kind of soak it in, get a break from the heat and the crowds, just let them enjoy some good food or good drinks or whatever, or, whatever the case is, if it's, rides or different areas of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And another thing, like just speaking of rides, you guys probably know our stance on Genie Plus. Like we don't usually go for it just because we're, fast pass, free fast pass forever.
Yep.
Like we're kind of just boycotting
Diehards.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have not paid for Genie Plus, but for a trip, like if you're taking a friend, like we're comfortable. Like Disney fans are comfortable being like 40 minutes, like an hour, like it's fine. And also you kind of know that it's going to be a little bit shorter than that. There's like this false sense of like time at Disney where they say one thing, but it's usually shorter. But still, waiting in any line is not fun. So honestly, for a trip like that, I would get Genie Plus. And it's not that much. Like I would probably pay, if it was like 2 days, I'd probably just like pay for their Genie Plus. Just be like, yo, this is on me. Like, so they're not like, we had to pay, like, to go on these rides. Just like try to alleviate all that stress.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're used to those lines and they aren't. But another thing is like have fun in lines too, right? Like lines are supposed to be, obviously not fun, but you can make them fun, right? So one thing that we love to do,
if you have to wait a long time, like you can at least find things to help pass the time.
Yeah. One thing that we love to do, especially when we're with our friends, is like play games or something. Like we love Heads Up. It's like the best line game in the world.
It
Like
really
the app.
is.
So much fun.
So fun.
But there's so many like little fun things that you could do while you're waiting in line. And then it just kind of eases that whole process. And it's not this like stressful, like, oh, we're going on another ride, which means another line. Like they'll be like, okay, well, we'll do something fun while we're waiting.
Yeah.
So definitely something to think about because non-Disney people are not going to enjoy those
into
lines.
lines. I mean, I think a lot of people do like expect it going to a theme park of any kind, but it's still just kind of like some lines at Disneyland just really can be so overwhelmingly long that you do just want to like find ways to make it a little more fun. And yes, use Genie Plus when possible. Sure. Right. Another thing that we talked about is just making the day like kind of start out smooth and end smooth in terms of like where you're staying, because where you're staying can play a big role in like how you get into the park and what time you get into the park. And like we just find that staying somewhere close by is the most convenient because you're not necessarily having to like Uber in and like pay money to get to the park or drive yourself from somewhere far away and deal with the extra like money to pay to park. Or, there's just so much that can make it like more complicated. So we just love staying like as close as we can at like usually the Good Neighbor hotels, which are the ones that are not exactly on Disney property, but they're very close by. Because it just makes it a very easy entry into the park, and getting back is always easier that way as well.
And on that note, we, like you've probably heard in our last couple episodes, we have partnered with Getaway Today, which does have like great deals on like ticket and hotel packages. I mean, just deals on everything. But if you do want a ticket and hotel package, on top of your like already great savings, if you use our code HappyHour, you can find our link in our Instagram, but and actually probably in our YouTube as well. But if you use that, you get an extra $10 off already the great savings. Like we used it for a trip that we're going to be doing in a month. Yeah, a few weeks. And we got like a great price on a hotel. Yeah. Super nice.
Super nice. And like so nice to just get those random extra savings where you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, yes, there are the very expensive options that are on property, like the Disneyland Hotel and the Grand Californian and Paradise Pier Hotel. Those are options if you want to.
If your friend is rich,
if one of you money is no problem, do it. Yes, it's going to be the closest option probably. But if not, there are lots of other options. And staying close by is, I think, a huge help in a trip, especially if you're staying for more than one day. I mean, if your trip is like 2 days, I think that's kind of what we're shooting for in this discussion. If it was like a 2-day long trip, like what are some of the best ways to do it, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And then also we were saying that like if you get down there the day before you're going to be entering the park, like the actual park, it could be really fun to just take your friends to downtown Disney to get just kind of like a intro into the Disney environment, right? There's so much to do there. It's fun to just kind of relax, get dinner, get drinks, like do some shopping, and just kind of get in the zone before your like big days start. You know, maybe go to Trader Sam's or something, like some of the favorites, just to kind of relax and wind down before the real fun begins, right?
Yeah. And it's like a way, because I think on the other days you're not going to want to take a break in downtown Disney. So you know, if you're there before and you don't have tickets for that day that you get down there, like I think it's a good way to still show them that area. You know, before. And sorry, we are talking mainly about Disneyland. Maybe we'll do one later for Disney World, but yeah, there's a lot of great things. And then another thing, you actually mentioned it already, is that take time to sit and eat at restaurants. Like that's a great way to get a break, especially if it's in the AC. Find other places, kind of like the Animation Academy. You know, where you could just kind of take a little break for a while. And then just like switch things up. You know, sometimes they have like little beer flights and you could just kind of sit in the shade and do all this stuff. Like just trying to find different things like that. But as we jump in, I mean, we've already jumped in, but those were like our main like tips, like the main little highlights of what we would do. But now we're going to be talking about like things we would actually pick for all the different categories. So we're going to start with food and drink. Like what place would we
like not want to miss with someone that was going for the first time? Like what is a must do on their first trip in the park? Our first pick, I think we would have to say, would be Lamplight Lounge. It is just such a fun environment. Everything is done well. The decor is amazing. The food is amazing. The drinks are amazing. The just scenery outside of the restaurant itself is spot on. Everything is just so good. And I think it's just it has become so many people's favorite place to go for food and drinks in the park at this point. I think
it's nice because it's not too upscale, but it still has that vibe.
Tier. It's like it's nice,
fun
enough. It's not just like grab and go food, right? But it's not like Blue Bayou or Carthay Circle style. It's like right in the middle. It's just perfect.
And you get to like take in the vibe of the pier, right? Like especially if you're sitting outside, they get to be enjoying their like cocktails, like something that they would normally do, you know, not at a theme park, but just like having fun eating and drinking. But then also you get to like look out into the water and like really kind of soak a lot of the views in without all the crowds of people, right? You're sitting at your own table, you're doing all that stuff. So that's definitely my number one that I would do.
I think so too at this point. Now that we've gone a few times, it's like I'm going to be bummed anytime that we don't go to Lamplight from now on a trip. Like it's definitely a must do.
Yeah, for sure. Over on the Disneyland side, I mean, kind of know your friend, right? Like if this is not their vibe, like don't go for it. But I think it's really cool for like, and we don't do this all the time. Like it's been a while since we've done this. But if it's a new friend going, I think it'd be really cool to show them Blue Bayou. The fact that you're eating at a restaurant inside Pirates of the Caribbean, one of the most iconic rides at Disneyland. That just shows off the theming and the immersion that Disney has to offer. And then also another cool thing is that like as you're eating there, you could kind of like, I always kind of like to share my love of the history of Disney too. It's not just, it's a fun place I like to go. Like there's so much history, so many like other cool things about it. Like as you're eating at Blue Bayou, I would be like, hey, did you know that there's like a secret club like pretty much above us or like right around us, and get them kind of intrigued. And that we've talked to some people who like don't care about Disney at all, but they love like secret things. And I think that'd be really cool. And we just did an episode like 3 episodes back about like the history of Club 33. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, definitely give it a listen. We learned so much during that. And go check that out. And then talk to your friend about it, because it is honestly so cool. Like I mean, maybe they'll be like, Yeah, no.
Cool.
I don't care about that. But honestly, I think it's very, very interesting.
Very intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to talk about Oga's Cantina because
Definitely a
that
must.
has definitely become another must do on a trip, I think. It's just so perfectly Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
They did a great
the
job.
first time we ever went in there, it was just like, I really, really feel like I'm in one of the movies. Like,
Yeah.
they did it so well. Everything in there looks exactly as it should.
Yeah.
And the drinks are amazing. I don't think we've ever gotten food. I don't think there's much food.
Yeah, I don't think
offering,
like, I think there's like a little bit of
snacks.
snack type things. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Like
just in terms
pretzels.
of the vibe and the drinks, it is definitely a must do. And if
Yeah.
your friend that's going is into that, you have to do it. You just have to.
Yeah, I think all these places just show off the time and care that Disney puts into a lot of these things, right? Like
Yeah.
even if they don't care about Disney at all, the fact that you can really feel like enveloped in the story at these places isn't like you have to appreciate
You
that.
just
Even
have
as a
to.
non-Disney fan, you have to appreciate the detail
The
that they put in.
detail
Yeah.
and the fun. Yeah. I agree. Totally.
Yeah. So we're going to jump into what rides we would actually take someone on. And obviously, like we mentioned before, you have to know, are they into thrill rides? Are they not? If they're not, this is going to
good
be...
theming. Are they into like there's so many different
Yeah.
parts to rides, and you know, if your friend doesn't care for rides, then maybe this part isn't a huge part of your trip.
But
which,
who doesn't care
that's,
about
That's
ri-
kind
I
of
mean,
crazy to think about. Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
sure people would be into the ride portion of this, but
Yeah, you want to start us off?
yeah.
I think it's a great one to start with.
I think we're gonna start with
There's no particular order to it.
yeah,
I
let's just throw them together.
yeah.
But Thunder Mountain, I think, is such a perfect roller coaster to take someone on, maybe for the first ride in Disneyland or first like thrill type ride.
Yeah.
It's so fun and just the perfect amount of thrill. Really can't be beat. Love the theme of it. It's so perfect.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Another one, Haunted Mansion. I mean, you guys know we've talked about these rides.
Yes,
all the time,
everybody
but-
knows the best rides of Disneyland. We're
Yeah.
just saying, like, if this were our trip to
Yeah.
show off Disneyland to someone, like, what rides would we take them on?
Yeah, definitely Haunted Mansion. I would so historical as well.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they were able to do all these like crazy projections and like tricks and all this stuff with this ride when it came out in like the 70s.
Way back
Like
then, yeah.
that's insane. So definitely take him on that. I guess I'll go again too.
Yeah.
But Indiana
Okay.
Jones, my favorite ride. I mean, it's
what
just
more
perfect.
can you say?
Yeah, what more can you say?
It's just perfect.
Yeah, theme and thrill.
Yeah,
Are
it's
really
got all
combined.
the elements a ride should have,
Yeah.
really. Next, we're going to talk about Jungle Cruise because everybody loves Jungle Cruise and it is just a staple. It's been there forever since opening day. Everybody loves the skippers and their jokes, and it's just, it feels so like, so Disney. It feels so like historical being on that ride.
Yeah.
Like every time I go on that one in particular, I'm just like, man, this one is so classic. And like watching the Imagineering Story, which we talk about all the time, I feel like, but we love that show. And in the first episode of that series, like they show so much footage of like when Jungle Cruise
Yeah.
was created,
I love
and
that.
it's just so cool to watch. So definitely Jungle Cruise is the must.
Yeah, and I'm wearing my Jungle Cruise shirt
Oh, yeah,
from Park
yeah.
Out Tees
You
right now.
are,
Yeah, I
of
love this
course.
shit. Next up, Pirates. I mean, that's the thing too. I'm kind of curious, like, if someone would appreciate. I mean, obviously you kind of have to. I mean,
You
Pirates is a
have
classic,
to.
but I could see some people going on and being like, "Oh, we're like sitting down for like 15 minutes," but the thing
No,
is, you
it's
know what?
so
It's so
good.
good. Yeah, that
You
one.
have to appreciate it. It's like,
Yeah, I think Pirates there. I mean, so many there. I think they would appreciate.
yeah.
I mean, Pirates, you just have to, right? You have to make sure that they hit all of the main ones that everyone talks about, just so they could be like, oh yeah, I've done that, you know. But do you
Yeah.
want to? The next one is so good.
Yeah, I mean, Space Mountain, of course, you have to go on. It's got all the thrill, You could want, well, I mean, maybe not. Maybe some people are into more thrill than that, but I think this is also the perfect amount of thrill. If people are into roller coasters, it's so fun. It's just so fun. I mean, everybody loves Space Mountain. You just have to do it.
Yeah. And then would definitely take them on Splash Mountain / Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Classic.
Yeah, such a classic.
So fun. Also, Rise.
This is actually probably like number.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe not number one.
I
But
don't know,
definitely,
yeah,
like
maybe
you
not number
have to
one.
go on this.
You gotta do it.
You get that Genie Plus and you do it.
Rise of the Resistance is a must do. I mean, I've said it about a lot of the rides, but it really has all of the elements. It's like so immersive. It's long, so it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
You know, it's so fun. Like, it is just so much fun. And it feels like they really,
Theming
really
is
make
perfect,
you feel so much like it's happening to you, you know?
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I think the cool thing about this is that you get to show them like Pirates, which I think is one of the most immersive rides from back in the day. And then you get to see like the evolution of rides by going on Rise and being like, yo, this is still a classic, but look at what they could do nowadays.
Yeah.
Like that is just so
true.
awesome. We're going to head over though now to California Adventure. And I think if they're up for it, if they're up for the thrills, Guardians Mission Breakout with that music, like there's no way you can't have fun during that. It's just way too much fun with the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a must for sure.
I agree, definitely. But like my first trip, like I talked about earlier, was when it was Tower of Terror, but it was still a similar type of dropping ride, obviously. And I was terrified to go on it, and I was like, I can't do it. And she forced me to go on it, and then I was hooked.
Lesson of the story: force your friends on rides.
Force them to go on rides that may become their favorite.
True. Don't quote us on that though. Don't say HappyHour on Earth told me you had
if
to
it didn't happen for you, I apologize. But it could happen. So next we're heading over to Incredicoaster because it is also a very fun coaster. Definitely that's just what I can say about it. It's just a fun coaster.
It's the only loop ride.
Yeah, in the park. And
so
if they're into that, especially, they'll appreciate the thrill, right? It's so fun. It's very smooth. I mean, for me nowadays, I've talked about this as well, but my motion sickness has gotten worse and it is a little tougher for me. So if you happen to be in my age range and that has happened to you or your friend, maybe it's not a must do for you.
Yeah, I think this one
makes
could
sense.
be a hit or a skip.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what you are feeling or what your friend is feeling, but it is a fun one.
That launch sequence is really, really fun though.
Yes.
The launch is great.
It's worth it, I think. You just gotta kind of know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Next up, we have Midway Mania. I mean, show them, how a ride could be a little bit different of the arcade style like shooting games. I think Midway Mania does it the best.
I agree.
Yes, it's a screen ride that I'm like, I'm not like the biggest screen fan, although my favorite ride is a screen ride or Flight of Passage. But that to be said, it is so much fun. I love the 4D element of it. And,
Me too.
Maybe they haven't experienced something like that before with like the air coming at you, shooting at you and all this stuff. And so, yeah, Midway Mania is always just like a fun, and you get to compete with them. Competition's always a good time.
It's like a game and a ride combined. It's just so fun. I love that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Also have to talk about Radiator Springs Racers because this one is another favorite.
It's probably like top 5 of things you should take them on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it, once again, has so many components of a great ride. It is a dark ride, a thrill ride, super well theming, like just so many things about it is perfect. So do not miss Radiator Springs Racers.
Yeah. Another one in California Adventure, Soarin'. I remember taking my grandparents on Soarin' over California back in the day. And they weren't like, Disney fans, but we took them and they just like loved this ride. We also took a lot of other people who aren't like Disney fans, but they come off of Soarin' just like, that is the best ride. That's the best ride. Like they love that because it's an experience really unlike any other. And your parents, they loved it. I think I remember hearing your dad say like, that was just incredible. Like, that was amazing.
Oh yeah. It's so fun, and it's not like overwhelming or scary or too thrilling. It's just like an amazing experience.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's relaxing. Like, everybody loves Soarin'. You just have to do it.
Definitely.
And then last, we were just going to say, like, we could see skipping Fantasyland rides on a trip like this one if you're just trying to, like, get someone to have the best time. And Fantasyland, for someone like that who's maybe not super into it to begin with, could just be a lot of overwhelm, you know? Maybe walking through it.
Yeah.
But like waiting in line for rides.
Especially Peter Pan,
Yeah, Peter Pan, especially. Alice also can be very long.
I love Alice.
So good. Like, we all love them, and I think that most of them are worth it. But anyone else might just be like, why am I waiting for this like kid ride? Like, it just may not seem like as big of a deal. It might be more of like a waste of time, you know?
And we appreciate going through and like seeing the animatronics and seeing all this stuff. But I could see someone, depending on who they are, being like, they're just like moving and then you're done in like 10 seconds.
Nothing exciting about this.
But we love our Fantasyland rides.
Yeah. We can appreciate all those little details because we've known them for so long. But anyone else might just be like, okay, whatever. So yeah, Fantasyland, hit or miss, you know, could be whatever you choose it to be. That's kind of the layout of how the day might go, we think, for bringing someone new to the park. Yeah. And then at this point, you know, you've done a lot of the rides and probably worn out, but I think it is highly important to see some shows at the end of the day. That's kind of something you just should not skip. With whoever is with you, you have to appreciate Disney shows.
Yeah.
And we both concluded that World of Color is the top show, nighttime show to see.
Yeah.
If you're bringing someone who has never seen any of the nighttime shows before. Fireworks is a close second, if not equal playing ground. But Fantasmic, I absolutely loved. It was a show that made me fall in love with Disneyland. Like, when I went that first trip, I saw it for the first time and it was the best. But for anyone else who's like a little older and isn't into Disney yet,
maybe like, why am I watching characters?
Yeah, like it's just very character focused, and it's, you know, it's a lot about Mickey, and, you know, for anyone who's not into that, it might just be kind of like a waste of time for them. I think World of Color, on the other hand, is similar to Fantasmic, but it is like, you have to appreciate the fact that it is literally like a water screen, and it plays out a whole story of all of the movies. Like, in that one show, it is such a beautiful show. I'm really, really hoping we can see it on our next trip. I'm really hoping we make it happen, because I haven't seen it in years at this point, and I miss it. So I really, really think that is an important show to see.
Yeah, and Fantasmic, like, that has the water screen as well, but the technology had just progressed so much from Fantasmic that the projections are a lot brighter. The
beautiful.
The height that the water streams get to go, so incredible. So I think it definitely has to be a must, you know, definitely at the top. Now, if you have time for Fantasmic, definitely go do that.
If you have 2 days, exactly. If you have like 2 days that you're in the park, or 3, and you can see one show each night, just do it. But like, if you're trying to narrow down shows, I would say World of Color, Fireworks. Those are the most important.
For sure. And I think the great thing about the shows is that it like taps into like the pathos, you know, like you're having fun on the rides, but Disney is a little bit more than just the fun. Like, obviously people might be like, oh, I have no connection to this, but I feel like most people watched Disney movies growing up, but like don't watch them now. But
it tugs on your heartstrings so much.
Like with the shows, is it has like a little snippet of something they probably watched when they were a kid, and that little snippet somehow just goes, oh my gosh,
just
like,
gets you. Yeah, like we tear up every time in World of Color at a few certain scenes. It's just it gets you. It just gets the emotions going.
And I think you need a touch of that in order to really want to go again, right? Like you can have fun at the rides and then be like, well, Magic Mountain has like more thrilling rides, so why don't I just go there? But there is a sense of like childhood that maybe, you know, not right away. Like I wouldn't be like, hey, let's go hang out with the characters and like meet them, you know?
Yeah.
But I think either at the end of the trip or just at the end of that day, being like, let's see this show. And they've already like experienced a lot of the park. And then now it's time to reel them in, you know, really get them hooked.
And
just
big
kidding.
time with the shows.
Oh yeah.
Because it really just wraps up the whole experience. It
does,
right?
yeah.
It's like, you know, you get to have the fun and the thrills and the food and, you know, all the daytime stuff. And then to just like tie the bow.
Yeah.
Said that. It's like
the Kiss Goodnight.
the kiss good. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
The kiss
Sherman's.
goodnight.
Yeah.
It's the show.
It really is.
And I really think that that's a big part of a Disney trip.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, there's a lot more we could say. I mean, we could just drag this on and just kind of, you know, have a detailed day of what we do. But honestly, I think having a schedule that is very flexible with someone who's new, they want to like take a break and all that stuff. But we just came up with this, you know, the other night, and we are like, this would be so much fun because I think every Disney fan, everyone who's like following us on Instagram or YouTube or on our podcast, like probably has someone who does not understand you.
Yeah.
Like does not understand your love for it. So it's like, why don't we just like talk about what we would do if we had it? And there were so many other thoughts like floating around, but this is kind of what we came up with. But we're just so thankful for all of you. Next week, we are going to be talking about everything that came out for D23. So if you want to hear our opinions, definitely check back in next week. Follow us on YouTube and all of our podcasting platforms and on Instagram. So you're notified when that comes out. But we have a couple, I think we have another guest on soon, which is going to be really, really awesome.
We have a couple guests and a lot of fun topics
Yeah.
coming up. We've got a good lineup. So
Yeah.
keep your eyes out.
With that, we will see you guys next week. Have a great Disney Plus day on Thursday. Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.